as well as some spotters as well. A pretty decent wall cloud that they're seeing just around, I would say, just east of East Moline itself. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at right there with that particular rotation from that storm. Once again, tornado warning out until 5 o'clock. Hopefully, if you have been hearing the sirens, you are making your way to your safe place. Please, please do not go out and try and find this rotation. More importantly, this tornado is a very dangerous situation. We certainly want the spotters out there doing their thing. They will be sending the pictures to us. That's the most important thing. And keep this in mind too. You know, with this possible, all this wind that may be spinning around as well, even the lightning, we can't rule out some isolated power outages when it comes to this particular storm. So that's the tornado warning that we see right here that will continue until about 5 p.m. And looks like, I'm not sure we're getting a, let's see, we're getting a new warning here. We do, a new tornado warning has just popped up now. Up here in Morrison County. We just showed this to you. And once again, we're kind of on this reflectivity mode. Let me see if I can go here. Let me first give you the details. This one goes until 5:15, and it covers areas from Fenton, Linden, and extending northeast toward the Sterling Rock Falls area. Okay, so once again, this is a tornado warning until 5:15, and not just a possibility of some rotation going on with the lightning, but also some large hail. If you look in the upper left-hand corner of your screen right there, it shows about 2 inches in diameter, which means that could be golf ball size hail that may be taking place with this particular storm. Let me go ahead and put the hail on there, and you can see the hail core located once again just outside of Morrison, and that continues to make its way off to the north and east. I'm going into visibility mode, much better that we're looking at compared to what we're noticing with the tornado potential located around, just around the immediate Quad Cities. But you can see right here, the little green that you see there, that's radar actually moving toward the radar site. And then you have the orange moving away from the radar site. So what does that mean? It means that there is some possible rotation going on. And I'll go ahead and put it up here, just right about here, right around the Linden area. And that continues to make its way off to the north and east. So as you can see right there, it's in the path heading right in this direction, right towards Sterling Rock Falls. So if it holds together, Sterling Rock Falls, hopefully you're not waiting until the storm gets there. You're actually making your way toward your safe place right now, okay? So this is radar indicated, and it's making its way to the northeast, probably around 35 miles an hour or so. You can see on the, once again, we got another update on the velocity mode here, and you can see it real tight, some nice bright orange here, some dark green. So it looks like just near or north of Interstate 88, just south of Bunker Hill Road there. That's where we're likely seeing some real tight rotation, very likely taking place. It's been a very, very active 2.5 hours. No question about this, folks. Kind of seeing all this activity pop up mainly just ahead of the cold front that is now located right along the river itself. Ahead of that boundary, we've been seeing temperatures in the mid to even upper 70s, got as high as 77 in the Quad Cities, which was another record-breaking temperature. Whereas behind the boundary, we've been seeing temperatures already dropping down to 50s and 40s, as close as Cedar Rapids and even around Iowa City, already witnessing temperatures in the 40s. So it's really the battle of the air masses going on, and just enough of a twist. It was kind of a low grade as far as seeing any type of severe weather around here, especially when it comes to any possible tornadoes. But it looks like you know, we're getting some good structure, and that's why we're seeing some of this being indicated on the radar itself. Let me go right back to reflectivity mode. And once again, we've been noticing with the storm just east of East Moline now, just on reflectivity mode, some type of rotation going on. When we put the velocity mode on, we just couldn't see it. It was just too cluttered. And so now when we go to a reflectivity mode, we actually can see, and I'll get this up here, we actually can see the rotation. Now, we haven't heard any reports yet of anything actually touching the ground, but we can see it on the radar itself where that rotation is taking place. Looks like just west of the Interstate 80, 280 interchange, right there. Okay, just right there, east of East Moline, right around the Silvis, Coal Valley area. That's where we're seeing that broad rotation being indicated by our friends at the National Weather Service. They are the ones that issue the warnings, and they allowed us to present that information to you to show you what is actually taking place and how we can actually kind of put it in more layman's terms of where it is and who is actually going to be impacted as well. Of course, we're keeping an eye on any notes from or texts from viewers, pictures as well. John Diaz is on the anchor desk right now. And John, I was wondering if you can kind of help us out and kind of fill in some of the pieces here that's been going on here in the past few minutes or so.
Yeah, absolutely, James. We're getting a lot of pictures and video, and this is mostly of hail at this point. I don't know if we can take my computer screen here because I want to show you this video. This is from Charles Willoughby. He took this video out of Port Byron. And it's going to turn around here in just a second as it kind of goes through the process here. But you can just see, James, how much hail is coming down. And it almost seems like he kind of stepped inside there almost just because it was getting to be so intense.
I don't mind tilting my head here to see it.
Yeah, exactly. So we're seeing a lot of that. We had a woman send in a video of her shoveling the hail. It was just accumulating so much.
Wow, really? Where at?
I want to say that I'd have to check. I'll get back to you on that one.
Okay.
Exactly where that was happening. But that was Courtney Johnson who sent us that shoveling video.
Yeah, really impressive with some of the hail going on. In fact, some of the ranges have been around pea size, even maybe around nickel size here at their station here in Moline. But we've had several other reports too of marble size, even close to golf ball size as well, especially with some of the storms that have been taking place even around southeastern Iowa. But we have to be concerned about these storms that we see right here, because not only could we see these brief little spin-outs pop up with these two cells that are going on, but also the possibility of some hail, and even maybe large, that we could possibly be seeing going on right along Highway 30 there, just north of the Erie Prophetstown area, just west of Sterling. This one has been producing some really decent hail. And you can see, once again, the reason why we have this warning out is because we actually are seeing some type of indication of some type of rotation right there. Okay, it's pretty much right on top of Interstate 88. And like I said, it continues to make its way off to the north and east. So that's why our friends in Sterling Rock Falls, hopefully you are hearing the sirens and you are just, waiting it out before the storm, eventually make its way in your neck of the woods. It's got a ways to go, so actually let's do this. I even put a little tracker on this as well. Like I said, it's moving about northeast around 35 miles an hour. So if we take care of the algorithms here and put Sterling Rock Falls in its place, we're talking about 15 minutes from now. 15 minutes until it reaches Sterling Rock Falls with this possible tornado within this storm. A lot of heavy rain, which we all thankfully needed, given the fact that it's been so dry of late. We only saw under 1/10 of an inch of rain on average in a lot of our hometowns throughout the past month or so. I haven't seen any so far this month, but now we're getting it. And in some cases, it's coming down pretty hard as well, producing a good quick 1/4 to even 3/4 of an inch of rain. So that's a nice sight to see when it comes, unfortunately, with these storms that are taking place across the area. Let's go ahead and do a quick review here. Once again, we got that tornado warning out until about 5 p.m. We also have this tornado warning out just around the immediate Quad Cities, right now along the Interstate 80, kind of 280 interchange right there, just north and east. I would say right around Illinois 2 is where we're seeing this rotation going on here. Doesn't look too impressive, but once again, if we had to put it in here, there it is. There's a rotation that we are seeing from this particular storm as it continues to make its way off to the north and east. I would say the only town to really be concerned about if it continues this course is probably Hisdale itself. So we had to go ahead and put a tracker on this, and if it holds together, okay, there's Hisdale right there in the end. We'll put a tracker on this, and you can see just over 10 minutes from now, it will be impacting Hisdale. Okay, so if you're watching us in Hinsdale, hopefully you are in your safe place. Any more information you got there over there, John?
I do, actually.
Sure.
Cove Valley, so right around, I think, where you were showing this
Yes.
tornado warning, and this
Yes.
is really some pictures of some clouds at this point, I think, James, but maybe you can walk us through it a little bit better. It looks like ominous clouds maybe to the layperson, but if we can pull my computer screen up, we'd be able to better see this a little bit. But again, this is from Cove Valley, one of our viewers, I imagine, who is paying attention to our newscast right now.
Yes,
Kind of was outside, it looks like, and was able to capture this photo.
Probably right there in the backside, I would say. I would think Cove Valley, if I'm correct, right, and maybe that may be pointing east. And this may be the part of the cloud that may be lowering. Now, usually when we see that type of lowering, we may be seeing some type of spin going on, okay, where that mesoscale cyclone may be taking place within the cloud itself. So that's very likely the shot that we see right here from that storm. I couldn't hear what
And
our
Matt has
producer
some
was saying.
hail video that we want to show you. This is some new hail video we just got. This is in Prophetstown. So just another kind of a shot. Just you can see this is similar to the other shot of
Wow.
the patio there, but just how much is accumulating. And then all of this is coming into to us within the past 10, 15, 20 minutes
Right.
From folks.
Yeah, it's just been that kind of an afternoon, I guess you can say, with these storms that have been popping up right along that boundary. So we got these two tornado warnings going on. Not forgetting our friends, our viewers, a little bit south and west of the Quad Cities. Let's mention about this severe thunderstorm warning. That is out until 5:15. This has the possibility of producing quarter-size hail. As you can see in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, 1 inch equals about quarter size, and the possibility there of seeing maybe a good rush of wind. So let's kind of first go into the hail that we see, and that's a nice core that we're noticing between Morning Sun and Minneapolis that we see right there. So if this storm is continuing to make its way off to the north and east, like so, with this storm, we're talking about, I'm going to go ahead and just maybe taking its way just out of New Boston. I'll see if I can get New Boston in here. No, but Oakville, New Boston, there's New Boston, 15 minutes, enjoy, I would say in about 25 minutes or so. Probably Keysburg is probably in that same domain as well when it comes to that particular storm. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for this storm as it makes its way off to the north and east, John. Let me see if I'm going to try and put some velocity on there. Fortunately, no velocity. This is just a hail-producing thunderstorm. That's kind of what we've been dealing with really the majority of these storms as they've been making their way from southwest to northeast, maybe a bit more of an easterly move with that storm just north of the Minneapolis area. And then you can see another broken line of some thunderstorms making its way toward Lee County itself, but no warnings with those. Could get some pea-sized hail with that area of activity, but I think the cold front itself is probably ahead of that line in southeastern Iowa, and likely nothing that can produce not just some large hail, but won't be able to produce any type of spin. Unfortunately, the storms that we're noticing near the immediate Quad Cities and northeast, those storms are actually ahead of the front itself. So this is where we have been getting at least some decent shear, some decent turning of the wind from the base to cloud aloft, and that's why we have these tornado warnings that have been popping up, because these are the storms that have been radar indicated when it comes to these particular storms that we're noticing in the air. These go until 5 o'clock. Once again, this one until 5 p.m. Cleveland, Hinsdale, like I said, Hillsdale, Rapid City, you're under the path of this storm, so make sure you're taking cover there. And our friends in Sterling Rock Falls, right there, you can see just south and west of town, right there along or just north of Interstate 88, that has had some rotation going on as well. John?
Pull up a photo, this video. This is live video from Whiteside County, the Whiteside County Airport, Rock Falls, Illinois. Just, James, so you can see what it looks like there. You were just talking about this area right here, and that's kind of what it looks like from that vantage point.
Right. That's just now east of the storm itself, and I would say just south and west of that. You can see how the clouds, the coverage looks even darker right near the surface itself. That's kind of what we're watching right there with that storm. So if there's any type of turning going on, it's really going to be right just left of that screen, okay? Anywhere just north of that, then you're just dealing with some large hail that could be taking place with that storm as well. But maybe not as intense just because the storm itself could be recycling a little bit, I would say, but maybe not enough cold air loft. So we may be talking about more of a surface-based spin that may be taking place. Let's go and take a look on the radar real quick here and show you the hail that may be going on just north and west of Sterling Rock Falls. Not as impressive as what we saw like around Morrison, where the DBZs, the amount of beam that was heading into these storms to kind of return and produce those higher echoes of brighter white, indicating some very large precipitation, in this case hail, is gone down to a kind of a blue. So that's a good sign that the hail we see here may not be much of a threat. However, though, the turning may be a different story, and I would say that we are seeing any type of that turning, and once again, we're kind of in velocity mode here. It's going to be kind of right here, okay? So at least there is some turning going on with this particular storm as it makes its way off to the north and east. Just seeing if there is any update with that particular storm with our friends at the National Weather Service. Once again, they're keeping that warning up for the potential of a brief tornado and even the possibility of some golf ball size hail. I think we can go ahead and kind of negate the potential of golf ball size hail, just what we saw on the latest hail mode, where we did not see much as far as any real large echoes from that. So that is some fairly good news. But nonetheless, it's still a very dangerous storm. It has some good amount of lightning going on with this storm, and more importantly, it has some spin that's taking place as well. So even though and not only are we seeing that on the velocity mode, we're actually seeing that too on our reflectivity mode right here as well. Okay, so that's a big concern with that storm. Kind of quiet right now in Sterling Rock Falls, but folks, we're just minutes away from that part of the storm. Put that tracker on it once again, because that is what we do, folks. And we're talking less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes, it will be impacting the Sterling Rock Falls area. So please don't go out and try and chase this storm. Please do not go out in your front yard and wait for the storm to arrive. We have spotters out there. We're going to get some pictures possibly from our spotters, okay? But we're letting you know you need to be in your safe place when it comes to this particular storm as it continues to make its way off to the east-northeast. So that tornado warning until about 5:15. Let's go back to the tornado warning that we see here, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of moving a bit more north than east, and that's some fairly good news. But as far as trying to find the spinning of it, the turning of it on reflectivity mode, it's getting to be a bit more of a challenge. Maybe that's a good sign. But I would say if we had some type of spinning going on, I would say it's just south and west of the Hinsdale area. And let's kind of zoom in a little bit more here if we can. You see, a nice classic thunderstorm that we see here, where we're seeing that very heavy rain taking place, some of the lightning. That's likely where we're seeing some good-sized hail taking place, maybe approaching walnut size, I would say, just north of 94th Avenue and extending even farther northward toward 150th Avenue, making it just north and west of Interstate 88. So that's very likely where the hail is falling. But as far as the rotation, it's only, I would say, just a couple of miles away from Hinsdale itself as it makes its way off to the east-northeast. Let me see if I can get any more information from our friends at the National Weather Service. If you've been hearing some of the blinging, the pings that are going on, it's mainly from the information that has been taking place from our friends at the National Weather Service. They have spotters out there that are communicating with them, and once they do communicate with them, they actually transfer that information to the media. In this case, the television stations here in around the Quad Cities itself. Looks like there's still some lowering, still present around that storm around Hinsdale itself, just west of town itself, right here. There are indications, and my drawing is not the best. Let's put it that way. Let me see if I can try this again, folks, right about there, okay? There is still some lowering right there and possible some rotation right there in the base of the cloud itself. We have not heard of any type of anything visually regarding a tornado on the ground itself. But since we have a nice, decent structure here, that is a concern and why we not only have this tornado warning out, but a concern for anyone that may be in the path of this storm. And that's what we're seeing that just west of Hidsdale itself. But by the looks of it, I tell you, just getting this, by the looks of it, you know, it just seems like it's kind of losing a little bit of its structure, John. So that's kind of why I'm a little curious as to when the next update comes. They will likely do this, John, is probably by the time we get to about 5 o'clock, they may cancel this warning. But we'll see how it goes as we make our way into these last just over 10 minutes or so from that storm. But nonetheless, we can still see some type of rotation. It doesn't look all too great, but it's still there. And once again, there's only so much that we can see on the radar. Having eyes out there showing us that there could be some lowering going on, you know, or any type of, more importantly, any type of structure that may be heading down to the ground itself when it comes to a possible tornado. That's something that, you know, those eyes are so important from our spotters out there. And that's why I always say that when it comes to, you know, when it comes to severe weather, the best eyes, the best equipment you can have, best instrument you can have are your eyes. And we're focusing really on our friends when it comes to our spotters out there, our chasers, to let us know what they are actually seeing and then transferring that information to us. John?
Yeah, and on that note, James, I mean, I think if we don't have eyes necessarily in terms of people out there, in the moment, our cameras are helpful in kind of giving us an idea of what's going on. Can we look at the, Matt, the Prophetstown camera? You said this was Prophetstown High School.
Okay.
You can see some of the clouds there. And then we can even go back to potentially Rock Falls and the Whiteside County Airport on my computer just to see, you can again see kind of that darkness that you were talking about.
Yeah, there it
is.
is.
Bottom,
you see
and
the
a lot
base
of
of
wind.
that too.
A lot of wind. It kind of froze there, but you can see it's very windy out there right now. And you can see those clouds are moving. They're making their way, it seems like, towards the camera almost.
Yeah, and I do have it right there in the radar. You can see how that lowering that we see right there, you can actually see it on the radar and a little bit of a coupling going into it as well. Okay, and this is what we're concerned about right there. You see that? That's what we're a little concerned about right here, okay? There could be some lowering right there, and that's, like I said, I think there could be some twisting that's taking place. It's just, let's see here. If I can move this out of the way just a little bit. Let me get this out of the way. Looks like it's just east of McClure Road. I would say just west of the Sterling Rock Falls area. And you can see that's a nice little couplet that we see there. A nice little, and that's air, free-flowing air going into that part of the storm, and thus some type of rotation that's taking place right there. It's right along McClure Road, right there. Oh, there's the next update. It just updated. I was wondering when it was going to update. The good news, just by looking at this, and once again, this is all radar indicated. Thank goodness, it's now looks like it's going to be just north of Sterling Rock Falls. That is some good news right there. My goodness. And it continues to make its way more to the northeast. It's actually jagged to the north, heading toward right there on East 37th Street, right there north of Sterling Rock Falls, around Illinois 40 right there. And that continues to make its way off to the north and east. So it's just going to miss Sterling Rock Falls. That is a huge relief right there. However, though, we can't ignore the fact that we have some viewers just north of town. So make sure that you are in your safe place here, okay? Anyone that lives just north of Sterling Rock Falls, make sure that you are definitely in your safe place. If you want to go back to that Whiteside County camera again, that would be great. See what we got here. I mean, this is just outside of town. And it's really hard to determine here because it's so closed in. You only have so much viewing here. But this, you know, if there's any type of lowering, it will very likely be probably just off our screen to the right. Because behind all that, there's nothing but quiet skies, okay? That's actually where the front is, the main cold front. I would say this is looking more west. I would think this may be looking more west.
Okay.
I'm looking at the flag right there. It's hard to say. I always thought that this was always looking west. And by the looks of the flag that you see there, you can see how the flag is, the way it's blowing. That's probably indicating, once again, I'm assuming that this is looking west. I always thought this was looking west. You're getting more of a north wind, which means that the front is already passing the airport itself, okay? And that's some good news. But any lowering that we see, given what I'm seeing on the radar, I think is likely just north of town. And it continues to be such as what I'm seeing here on the radar itself. In fact, we got another indication of where that rotation may possibly be at. Right now, you can see just along East 37th Street. There's Sterling Rock Falls right there, okay? I'll get even closer. There's Sterling. And it gets you way farther north of that. That's where the rotation may be, just north of town. And it continues to make its way into the open area that we see just north of town itself. You're going to see a small neighborhood you can see located just off of East Science Ridge Road right there. So that may be a big concern with this neighborhood. They may be seeing some type of rotation going on, given that what we're seeing here on the radar, it's located right here, okay? That's probably where the rotation is, right there along East Science Ridge Road, I would say, is where we're seeing that possible rotation going on, okay? So once that clears the Sterling area, then we can give then we're giving all the clear, I would say, as that storm makes its way, possibly going into parts of Lee County. We got another 5 more minutes to go on this tornado warning. Let me see if anyone from the National Weather Service is going to give us details about any type of update or extension of this warning. I highly doubt it. Right now around Hillsdale, everything is looking much better out there. I don't think if I go to velocity mode, I'm going to be able to see much. Let me put it out here. Not too much. I can't really see much as far as really any type of decent signature. Looks very cluttered with some of the green and red indicating the raindrops moving toward an array itself. I don't really see much as far as any hail. That is some good news. Once again, there's velocity, there's reflectivity, and really not much I see here with this rotation that may be taking place. I think it's safe to say, if I can maybe dash out a little bit, it was certainly safe to say, Hillsdale, you're fine. You're in the clear. That storm, I think, is losing a lot of its structure, so that is some fairly good news. I think what we'll be doing here, John, is, and I'll let the people in the booth, I'll let the booth know as well that we'll go into regular programming if we can at 5 o'clock, and by then we'll likely see some of these warnings be discontinued. The only exception could be the one around Sterling Rock Falls, which may become more of a severe thunderstorm warning going into those counties, making their way outside. And we'll keep an update too on this warned storm, severe thunderstorm that goes around 5:15. So that is kind of what we'll do as far as going to our newscast at 5 o'clock, where we'll start off with some weather, and then we'll go with some news as well. And any changes that we do see, we'll certainly let you know. So I'm going to keep talking until I get the cue to go to our newscast. How about that? And I'll get that cue from John. I'm sorry, what was that?
We'll need to go to break. Let's go to break whenever we can, James.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and go to break. Let's go into break right now, and we'll get to our newscast here very shortly. Well, you know what?
No, I don't think so. We're in commercial.
We're commercial?
Yeah.
Okay.